Hey everyone, I hope you are having a wonderful day. Today I'm going to be creating this artwork and showing you how I do it from start to finish, while also talking about surrendering when it comes to creating. So how to loosen up and surrender and allow what's inside of you to come out onto the paper. I am going to have this as a digital download, so the link will be in the comment section of this video if you're interested in using it or following along while I draw and talk. So I'm going to flip the camera over and I hope you join me. Before I get into what I wanted to talk about, which was surrendering in your art and predictability, those were the two things I wanted to talk about. I'm using gouache to paint this. You can use any art supplies you want. You can use watercolor, you can use pencil. Any art supplies will work if you are wanting to follow along. So yesterday I did a video on how to overcome fear and fuel inspiration. I'll include a link to that in the description of this video. And it got me thinking about surrendering to allow creative freedom to, enter the room when you start drawing or painting. And then it got me thinking about, why do we all want to draw perfectly in our mind, whatever we decide perfect is. It's up to the person drawing. But I feel like a lot of us, or maybe it's just me, but not always, but predictability is really important to me. And so surrendering when you're creating art means letting go of predictability. And predictability is just, what's going to happen. Maybe you have a routine. You like to know how things are going to be. And I think predictability is almost an illusion, but we like to carry that with us. I know I do when I draw, but I also know when I'm drawing and I want predictability when I'm drawing, that's when I feel sort of boxed in and I feel frustrated with my art. So that enters in surrendering to that creative flow and allowing whatever is inside of you to emerge. But how do you surrender when you maybe have some perfectionist tendencies or you really like having predictability? I have a bit of both of those. Really like predictability in my life and a bit of a perfectionist. So art is just such a great outlet for anyone who is like that. So surrendering when it comes to creating doesn't mean you're giving up. It doesn't mean you're a bad artist. It doesn't mean letting go and just scribbling. It means sort of setting your expectations aside and understanding that, when I go to create, predictability is out the window. I'm shelving that for now. I'm shelving predictability and perfection and expectations, and I'm going to let my childlike self come out onto the paper. And also when you do that, you start discovering things that you really like that you never would have known if you kept trying to draw with something in mind, perfection or predictability. We've been taught that good art looks a certain way and that we have to earn the right to call ourselves an artist. But I disagree because for many of us, the artist is within us. For everyone is somewhat creative. I think we all have creativity within us, and some of us just really want to put it out there. And for many of us, especially if you started later in life, there's this feeling like we're behind and we're trying to catch up. And so we're chasing this illusion of perfection, and we want to do it in a predictable way. But art is really not a race, and surrender doesn't mean you're falling behind. It's just, you're shelving those expectations of yourself. You're setting down that heavy load of I should do this and I should do that and I need to draw this way. So you don't. You need to draw whatever way your heart desires. And for anyone who's just starting out, drawing, creating. You're not late to the game. You're just on time. You're just on time. There's no wrong time to start. Any time is a good time to start creating. With that in mind, I do want to talk about a few ways to practice surrendering when you're painting. And you're watching me do it. You're watching me surrender. And it can't, there are some things I didn't like about this, but I just kept going, and that's one key. But the three things I wanted to mention, if you're practicing sort of shelving expectations and shelving predictability when it comes to creating art, and you're sitting down and you're going to create, here are three things you can do. The first thing you can do is set a timer to draw or paint. So set a timer, you can have an idea or have like a reference photo, but set a timer, 10 minutes. I have some videos where we're doing art in 15 minutes, and I'll include those one of those in the description as well. But when you set a timer, there's a rush. And so you're painting a little bit faster. And as you're painting faster, you're not thinking as much and you're not judging yourself, and you're letting go of all the things that are in your head about expectation and perfection. And if you have it in your head to just keep going, that timer will really help you loosen up in your drawing. Another tip that I have is use a limited palette of colors. I really tried with this one to use a limited palette. Now I know it's not as limited as many other people use, but for me, this particular painting, which actually the end result I truly love, was a limited palette. I try to include more patterns as well, but use a limited palette and give yourself maybe one goal, whatever that goal may be. And the third thing is paint over something old. Paint over something old so you don't feel like you're ruining anything. And I really think those three tips will really make a difference when it comes to surrendering, when it comes to creating, and allowing creative freedom to enter in when you are creating your art. One bonus thing you can do, or like a fourth idea, would be to purposely try to make something that you think is ugly. To purposely get your materials out and just get in there and think to yourself, I'm going to make something that's ugly and I don't like. And just get in there and draw on the paper and paint on the paper and see what comes out. Then set it aside. Set it aside. Set any of your artwork aside and put it away for a while and come back to it in a month and see what changes for you. Because even if you come back to it in a month, that ugly one that you do, that you purposely make ugly, then paint over it, draw over it, add to it, and see what you can do. There's all sorts of little activities that help you let go. And, whether you're just trying to do mark making and not draw something because you're afraid you're going to draw something ugly, those are all actually, that's sort of like 5 ideas to help you loosen up and surrender. Any of these ideas will actually work to help you loosen up. I certainly love doing mark making. And I actually tried to incorporate it into this artwork. That's why I've got the lines in the background and the patterns and then the jewelry. That's my attempt at adding some mark making into this image or artwork, whatever, the drawing that I did, to try to sort of bring it to life. So adding different elements can help, but those are some great exercises for you to try to loosen up, surrender, and let go of predictability. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope this video helped. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. And I am going to see you in the next video. I hope you all have a wonderful day and happy sketching.